In a stunning fall from grace, Prince Harry has been ignominiously deported from the United States following a relentless legal campaign to revoke his visa over shocking allegations of criminality, moral turpitude and unforgivable transgressions unearthed from his checkered British past. The dramatic expulsion from his adopted California homeland represents the former senior royal's heaviest downfall yet after a years-long publicity nightmare. Tarnished by damning disclosures that obliterated his remaining shreds of palatability and severed all ties to redemption, the disgraced Duke of Sussex now faces being permanently banned from America alongside convicted felons, terrorists, and reviled human rights abusers on the federal government's no-admittance list. This ostensible humanitarian and self-proclaimed beacon of truth peddling his lurid, inflammatory memoirs has committed documented atrocities so malignant, it defies comprehension how he slipped through customs screenings, said Marcus Brevard, the crusading immigration attorney whose coordinated litigation precipitated Harry's removal. I fought to uphold America's sanctity from foreign menaces more toxic than this supposed prince could ever imagine. Brevard's scathing censures corroborate a 472-page dossier comprised of sealed military records, suppressed internal investigations, personal testimonies and other toxic materials submitted to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security over 2 years. These bombshell filings alleged Prince Harry's hidden past is rife with racist behavior, sexual assaults, drug offenses, wanton destruction of protected lands and the callous disregard for life itself during his military tours as a teenaged Apache helicopter gunner. Among the most incendiary claims in Brevard's dossier are authenticated passages from Harry's own leaked, uncensored, spare memoirs referring to his time as an Apache co-pilot/gunner in Afghanistan's Helmand province. In the searing passages, Harry is purported to callously brag he was a modern-day colonialist waging scorched psychological warfare against violent religious fanatics from the air just as my forefathers vanquished savages from land. It continues with Harry describing how he relished firing on enemy insurgents and developed a video gamer's detached numerical scoring bliss, from splattering bodies left and right, even narrating color commentary. Eyes boring through the scrambling mass of ants below before squeezing the pulsing trigger to mist their little art-house mud village with a thick red vapor. Ha! Chalk up 20 dead prawns. Law enforcement sources assert these admissions implicate possible violations of The Hague's international rules of warfare governing hostilities and mandated military accountability. Subsequent reports of U.S. Army drone operators being court-martialed for nearly identical sentiments as Harry expressed have emboldened those arguing for his immediate arrest and prosecution in an American court. Professed or not, anyone willingly imparting such cold-blooded sociopathic depravity inducing mass civilian casualties essentially confesses criminal intent to enable war crimes, Brevard contends. Gratuitous death squad revelry leveling impoverished Afghan communities doesn't check any box beyond Harry's Gamergate-inspired butcher's rampage. The dossier contains additional written testimony alleging even more severe abuses against civilian populations and protected indigenous groups that investigating officials have declined to comment on. However, Brevard is far from done exposing Harry's potential deportation offenses beyond these military misdeeds. His next salvos target the former royal's pre-army party years as a reckless, unrepentant menace to society, frequently engaging in racist vitriol, substance abuse, property damage and alleged sexual assaults with mistresses during conspiratorial blackout rampages he once condoned as the privileged folly of crown nobility. Legal documentation cites now surfaced charges stemming from a 2005 incident where a belligerent 21-year-old Prince Harry accosted and groped 6 personal staffers at his cousin Princess Beatrice's raucous birthday party. During the alleged drunken fracas, Harry also reportedly leveled multiple xenophobic slurs while smashing antique furnishings inside Windsor Castle's legendary Norman halls, altogether causing over £30,000 in damage that was strictly covered up by the Crown estate at the time. Further records reveal Harry's attendance at an elite all-boys prep school was rife with disciplinary issues, alleging excessive bullying, cheating and even impersonating a Nazi soldier for a misguided costume display. These reports all culminated with his involuntary expulsion at age 17, a fact that somehow managed to elude international scrutiny until specifically dredged now as ammunition for deportation proceedings. Cumulatively, the ever-worsening personal violations and ethical lapses paint a portrait of an out-of-control sociopath obscured from public accountability behind the palace's protectionist shields, as per Brevard's withering legal briefs. Harry's widely spun prodigal tale of a tortured, principled spare bearing the burden of royalty's toxic dysfunction was nothing more than a marketing hoodwink to rehabilitate his image, the veteran prosecutor argues. In reality, our filings have uncovered just one irredeemably callous caricature thriving off hate crimes, social menace, and alarming entitlements that any ordinary citizen would face maximum prosecution for. Taken alone, Harry's plainly confessed errant recreational activities from underage binge consumption to his candid published admissions of illegal drug use appeared sufficient cause for federal authorities to commence revoking his visa under existing public charges statutes. In fact, Homeland Security recommended his prompt removal shortly after Brevard's initial briefings, only for the process to become procedurally hampered by the prince's public figure status and England's Consulate General contesting aspects of the proceedings. Now looming criminal charges over felonious war crimes and military malfeasance have renewed vigor behind outright banishing Harry from American soil indefinitely. My client knows Mr. Markle represents a clear and present danger to the ethics and safety America has sworn an oath to uphold through strong national vetting procedures, said Los Angeles-based immigration attorney Adam Dringman, who has litigated amicus briefs supporting Brevard. Anyone else bearing this maniacal human rights record would already be preemptively incarcerated, let alone receive constitutionally vital travel documents to even reach our shores. Enough of the slipshod red tape privileges. This menace has terrorized society more than enough and belongs permanently quarantined from all civilized access. Due to the Homeland Security case's high-profile magnification, rarely invoked summary deportation proceedings proved the swiftest method of authorization. Government attorneys did not attempt extradition or preemptive prosecution given Harry's residency status, potentially allowing him to swiftly depart on his own recognizance after the administrative process and spare federal courts the spectacle of an embarrassing criminal trial against England's royals. Confronted with undeniable evidence of immigration code offenses through felony convictions and a failure to disclose material evidence of inadmissibility under sworn testimony during his entrance visa applications, Harry ultimately opted to depart versus utterly contesting removal proceedings that could trigger criminal charges if he remained defiant. Already left with no other realistic options amidst the legal pummeling, Harry was granted a week's notice to urgently settle remaining affairs and depart for the UK voluntarily while the government finalised formal deportation orders. The last images of the ousted royal captured his dishevelled figure alone at LAX airport hauling 2 modest suitcases and hugging his children before shuffling through security. He was noticeably distraught, but still eerily calm and reserved like only guarded aristocracy could manifest in such turbulent devastation, remarked one gate employee to reporters staked outside. Not even the world-shattering personal disgraces in his rear view fazed those serene royal airs. As for Markle, she maintained an icy silence back at her family's gilded Montecito estate when confronted about the seismic news. But her former Compton neighbors were happy to relish their nemesis' startling descent in full schadenfreude glory. Girl bye and good riddance to both those insufferable windbags, spat Tiffany Walker, the local elder who once called Meghan out on her exaggerated, hood cred nonsense. I told y'all from day one never to buy what these counterfeit consummate con artists were selling on TV about their rags to riches ratchet fantasies and royal victim complexes. Others in the close-knit community expressed mixed feelings watching the couple's well-orchestrated dreams of domestic American reinvention literally being loaded onto an aircraft and deported back to face the scorn of England.